And welcome back to the iceHQ Ice Rink in Reservoir, Melbourne, Australia on Warringah traditional land, where we are about to start round 4 of the CCM National Women's Hockey Tournament here in Reservoir. The game will be between the Adelaide Wolves and the Central Coast Stingrays. This game has some pressure on it now. There's a bit to play for because the format, the two teams, the Adelaide Wolves and the Central Coast Stingrays, are tied on 2 points apiece, both teams with the one win. And the top four teams make the finals tomorrow. So the winner of this game goes into the finals, and the loser plays a consolation final tomorrow afternoon after almost definitely the Melbourne Furies, who are yet to win a game. So the winner of this game gives themselves a chance to get into the grand final game tomorrow and certainly goes into the playoffs. The loser is going to play the Furies in a consolation final tomorrow instead. So a bit at stake in this one. The Wolves and the Stingrays, a lot to play for. We've seen some pretty good hockey. The most recent game we just finished with, if you haven't had a chance to watch it, watch the last period. It was the Melbourne Reds against the West Australian iceHQ, and the Quokkas with a come from behind goal with a couple of minutes to go, leveled it all out and ended up being a tied game, 2 goals apiece. A very exciting game indeed, one of the best games we've seen here, certainly in terms of results. And the West Australian goaltender put in an absolutely superb game. What we're going to see now is the Central Coast of New South Wales against the Adelaide team of the Adelaide Wolves versus the Central Coast Stingrays. The Ice Wolves in grey and the Stingrays in Dallas green, I should say. Get that right eventually. The Wolves have 2 goalies. Previously, we saw Natasha Lovell play earlier today. Will they put Jade Hodge in? Jade Hodge played a game yesterday where she made 60 saves in 45 minutes of hockey, which is... any goaltender will tell you that is an incredible performance. She was playing against the Melbourne Reds, and the Reds won in the end by 6 or 7 goals. But I'll tell you what, Jade Hodge, we had to just put a button on for made the save. Jade Hodge saves, because she played absolutely out of her skin, and it was a superb effort for her. It looks like she'll be starting in the net today or this afternoon. The South Australian team alternating goaltenders, and Hodge will be in the goal this time. And I have to say that gives the Wolves quite a good advantage. Lunt in the net for the Stingrays has done pretty well, but I think Hodge has been the goaltender of the tournament so far. Even though she's only played the one game, it was absolutely superb. And in terms of the number of shots faced and saves made, I don't think anyone's got close to it. So it was a brilliant game on her part. Players to watch out for the Stingrays. They were dominant yesterday, but they weren't so effective today against the earlier on against the Flaming Galahs was Vicky Prochik and Mish Boska from the Central Coast Stingrays. They played particularly well, but they weren't as effective against in the previous game today. They didn't dominate like they did in some of the earlier games. Give them a bit of room to move, and they are very dangerous indeed. But if you tie them up and keep them under pressure all the time, they're like anyone else. They're not magicians, and you can take the puck off them. The teams have all been vulnerable. All of the teams have been vulnerable to breakaways behind them. Defence very keen on pinching in, and that's been that was how both of the iceHQ's goals were scored, were breakaways. One was a bit of a lucky bounce off the back of a goaltender, but the other one was an absolutely superb breakaway, and it's caused by defensive players thinking they're going to go and get the puck high and getting beaten, and when that happens, there's no one behind them. And if you don't cover that up, you've got a real problem, and that's where goals are scored right the way through from beginner level hockey right the way through to the elites in the NHL. Close it up and you give yourself a good chance to win. Also, loose players in the slot. Defensive teams have been a little bit prone on letting players float around there as well. And teams that can manage to prevent the breakaways and not have loose players in the slot give themselves the best chance to win the game. I do apologise in advance. The Ice Wolves, their jerseys are often pulled up to the point where I can't see the numbers very clearly. And we've got some duplicated numbers as well, which does make it very difficult to get the calls right with the names. We'll do my best. But we can't fix that, unfortunately. We're about to get the puck drop now. The Wolves in the grey and the Central Coast Stingrays in the green. And underway, a fairly neutral face-off. Boxer not quite able to win it back. And now the puck in the neutral zone with Adelaide breaking it in. Trying to get the early shot on. Nice cross-ice pass to... in the net from Messenger. She played a very effective game in the last game. And can the Adelaide team get a nice shot into the net, and Lunt makes a save. First touch of the puck for Lunt is a good one, and she saves quite nicely. bouncing around in the zone, in the attacking zone for the Adelaide Ice Wolves. Just bobbles across the front of the net. Lunt trying to cover it up as the Stingrays try and clear at least to dump it into the corner. They're there in numbers, but they've just let that number 70 float up high. They're just not quite able to capitalise on the puck. What they need to be doing there is getting in that player's face and lifting the stick up off the ice. If they don't do that, they're going to continue to get shots in. And if they can control that, the team that does that better is the one that's going to win the game. Stingrays now just trying to barge their way through with Hobday, but she doesn't quite manage to tidy it up. And now up to Hobday again for the Stingrays, looking for a cross-ice pass, but there's no one in front of her. She could have a shot there if she wanted. Chooses to go cross-ice, and the pass gets picked off by Trampolino for the Wolves. He drives it into the corner, but it just comes back into the Central Coast defence. Up to Hadway again. And this time she is picked off by Harris. The Adelaide team break it out. Loose bobbling puck for Annie Bartlett, but she's not quite able to do very much with it. She's still pushing and shoving, and the puck's still loose into the zone for Adelaide. Now they rush deep into the corner. And you can see they've got 3 loose players just floating around. 2 Stingrays going in chasing the puck, and they're just leaving players behind them. You might see that on the replay if we get it from the top. Looks like we're just going to get the goalie scramble, so not terribly useful there. But you can see it happening. You can see those loose players getting into the slot in front of the net with no one on them, and they need to. The defensive teams need to sort that out. They've got to close it down, or they're just going to get easy goals scored against them. Puck deep in the corner again now for Adelaide. Now the Stingrays doing a better job of controlling the slot. You can see there, that's much better work by Annie Bartlett, not letting that shot get in. It's that physical challenge in front of the net that you need to manage. You can say it's my spot, you're allowed to hold position. The rules are a little bit relaxed about interference in front of the slot. So if someone is there, you are allowed to just give them a bit of a nudge, move them out of the way. Say, this is my house, you're not coming in without paying the rent. And the rent is getting a bit of a push around. We've got a bunch of players lying around on the ice. They need to get up quickly. Stingrays a little bit lucky as Adelaide get a shot across the front, but it misses everything around behind the net. It's sustained pressure from Adelaide. The Stingrays not able to clear the puck out. They've all rushed back to try and clean up the mess, and in the end, Lunt shuts it down. The Wolves with just a bit more control over the puck at the moment, and a bit better. A good attacking rush for them. But as we've seen throughout the games over this tournament, a little bit of a holding in possession doesn't necessarily result in a win if you leave gaps behind you and the other team eventually gets out. And we know that the Stingrays can do it. If Prochik and Bochka combine, they can get a puck out very quickly and turn what looked like nothing into a goal very fast indeed. There's a puck somewhere, we don't know where it is. The referee finally blows it up. It's the old Maxwell Smart sit on the puck game. It's down there somewhere, and the referee loses sight of it. Out it comes. Emily Whitelaw moving across the ice trying to take possession, but she's stripped of the puck, and now it comes back for Adelaide, breaking out through a number that I just can't read because it's all tucked up under a jersey. That was either Fryer or Gunn. And we will get a face-off for an icing. 9 minutes and 50 seconds to play. The score tied up, no goals apiece. But the Wolves with 7 shots, but the Stingrays none so far. And the Stingrays turn this face-off into a shot on the net and an opportunity. Quite able to capitalise on possession as Hobday wasn't quite able to turn the puck she had on the end of her stick into a shot. So Adelaide take the puck around behind the net in Messenger, and she's looking for a cross-ice pass up to the point. She takes it. Shot in from the high slot. A nice backhander from the high slot, puck bobbling around. But Lunt safely swallows it. And we are still nil apiece. And there is a lot at stake in this game. The winner of this game goes through to the finals tomorrow and gets to play whoever finishes first. Whoever loses this game is into the consolation final tomorrow. So they get another game of hockey whether they win or lose, but they'd like to play the finals as everyone does. Nice cross-ice pass to 88 for the Adelaide team who fires it in. Nice move there by Mummy Tripolino. She's played very well through the tournament. She's had a bit of a tendency at times to carry the puck a bit too much, but she's certainly got plenty of shots on and showing good maturity with shot choices. And the puck comes bolting out now. She's got it in foot race back. It comes all the way back to the goaltender in Hodge, who uncharacteristically for her has to catch the puck. She's feeling very different to the game she played yesterday against the Melbourne Reds, where she had to make 60 saves in 45 minutes of stop time hockey, of non-stop time hockey, which is just phenomenal. She was non-stop yesterday. She's had a much easier run of it so far today as the Stingrays win the face-off. Try to get the shot in from the point, but it's ineffective. Down to behind the net, Boscher. She's looking for an option to pass to. Shot across the front of the net, goes deflected behind. Two Adelaide players in deep. Bobska floating around in the Alex Ovechkin memorial position, but not getting the puck. The referee's got a hand up for an interference foul, and as soon as Green touches the puck, there will be a whistle blown. Lunt makes the save. The whistle will be blown, and there will be a penalty on the Stingrays. They will have to use their penalty kill. And I think it was a trip. Yeah, we have a tripping call on Vicky Prochik. And that's a problem for the Stingrays because Prochik is certainly one of the more potent players, but we've just seen a very nice piece of face-off play by Hobday. And she's done a nice setup from a face-off win in defence. Sorry, it was Cole Clark. She's played an excellent game. She's got a number tape over, so an 11 looks like a 14. 14 looks like an 11, but the puck now deep in attack for the Stingrays. They clear the puck out. And they've got too many players on the ice, so they're about to get another penalty. They'll get a bench penalty for that. Because they're on the penalty, they're only allowed to have 4, and they've put on an extra player. And that's one of those controllable things. In a game of hockey, there's a bunch of stuff you can't control, and there's things you can. And you've got to control the things that you can control. And one of them is, have you got the right number of players on the ice? It happens, we'll make those sorts of mistakes, especially under pressure. But that's one that whoever's running the bench is going to be thinking, I can't believe I let that happen. But it did. Now we have 5-on-3, which is very hard to defend against. Lunt's going to have her work cut out for her. And that will run for 50 seconds. So a 5-on-3 defence. Typically what most teams will set up here is what we call a triangle, where you have 2 defensive players back in front of the goalie and another player patrolling the slot. And all you do when you get the puck is you just fling it down the other end. You don't do anything fancy, just get rid of it. Let's see if they do it this time or if they run an aggressive forecheck. You can see they've set up a triangle. And now Adelaide have to go and get it. They want to be very careful they don't overcommit. 28 there for the Stingrays. In Cassandra Dutton has overextended a little bit, and as a result now Adelaide with a 5-on-2. But she gets back and cleans up the mess. Get shots across the front of the net. That's all the attacking team now gets lots of scoring opportunities. 7-6, 5 seconds to go on the initial penalty, and then it still continues with the 5-on-4. The initial penalty over, and that's Prochik who skates straight in with speed. She's not doing that silly business of skating straight across the ice and taking herself out of the play. She's had 2 minutes to recover, comes straight back into the game. And now the Stingrays will want to run the clock down through as much gamesmanship as they can get away with, delay everything as much as possible. But they've still got too many players on the ice. They've now got 5 again. That's a bit unforgivable to make that mistake twice in a row. But they've cleaned it up now. Loose bobbling puck floats around, but number 70 there for the Wolves not able to put the puck on the net. Kate Green, she had a shot, there was a bit on it, but it wasn't on the net. Nice box defence now set up by the Central Coast Stingrays as they have 10 seconds to go on the second penalty. Boxker manages to break through, and she's got a great opportunity to score from here. Beautiful shot, block aside, but what a save, Hodge. Hodge sticks the blocker out, and that puck denied from Prochik's very good move. You can see that breakaway and how effective it is when she gets some room and space. It was a terrific shot that went high block aside, but Hodge just stops all of them. Now Adelaide with the high shot, and that was Messenger, I think. And the puck goes high and is saved by Lunt. So the Coast Stingrays, they need to sort out the bench. You can't keep running multiple players on the bench and expect to get away with it. It's a bit of an unforgivable mistake. Once, yes. Twice, absolutely not, especially twice on the same penalty. But it happens sometimes. Whoever's running the bench needs to buy the team a beer. 3 minutes to play in the first period. We're still 0-0. There's been some pretty good opportunities for the Wolves, but they haven't been able to capitalise on it. And the Stingrays have had a couple of breakaways that have looked particularly dangerous. But now we're going to get an icing. Referee wipes it off. No icing call. A little bit of ambiguous signalling from the referees there, but it's all okay. As now the Adelaide Wolves break it out towards the Stingrays with 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go, but denied by Amy Newbury was that attack. So nice play by the Stingrays. So good pressure by the Stingrays defence. They're certainly not letting the Adelaide team get any easy shots on, and that's important. Now they're letting 88 float around a little bit free. They've come back to cover it up, but the player that's come back to get it's the winger. And as a result, they've got a point player up on the blue line floating around, totally unmarked. And just some fairly basic defensive structure they need to sort out. It's easy to say and hard to do when you're under pressure, but that's what they need to do to give themselves a chance. Adelaide this time with a breakthrough, some traffic, but again the player just robbed of the puck by Newbury. She's doing a great job down there. Newbury, the standout defensive player for mine for the Stingrays. There's 1 minute and 50 seconds to go in this first period, still 0-0. And the puck dumped down the other end. There'll be no icing this time. The puck has made contact with the player. No, the referees are calling icing this time. As we've often said, the referee decides what reality is, and the rest of us are merely interested observers. Those of you that know your physics will no doubt correct me on the use of Schrodinger and his cat at this particular point in time. But we won't worry about it too much. We're more interested in the hockey. Can the Stingrays get another breakaway? They try and break through, but picked off this time. Good puck battle on the boards, but Adelaide now with a run through the middle. Beautiful cross-ice movement. Lunt a little bit lucky there. She sprawls across the ice, but makes a save from Messenger, who drove across the front with the puck. And the puck just held in by the Stingrays. Bodies all over the place. And you can see some good use of the body. Puck bobbles up high. Lunt makes a pad save, but it deflects high. But Adelaide not able to put it in the net. Another high shot. And this time here comes the Stingrays with a counter-attack. And it is Bochka, but she is denied on the challenge. The players all over the ice. And there's a hand up for offside on the Stingrays. 15 seconds left to play. We have a whistle, and that whistle will end the period. We won't have time for the resulting face-off. So at the end of the first period, and I'm calling it a second or two early, but this face-off isn't going to happen. The Stingrays and the Wolves tied at no goals apiece. The Wolves have had the majority of the play, but have been unable to capitalise on it, with Lunt making some pretty good saves. And on the whole, the Stingrays doing a good job of keeping their zone clear close into the net. So there hasn't been much in the way of quality shots on Lunt, whereas the Wolves haven't given away much in terms of play, but on occasion, Prochek and Bochka have been able to escape and get down and get a couple of good shots on, but Jade Hodge has been up to the task. So although the game has been mostly to the Wolves, the score, it's still 0-0. And anyone could win this one, and we've seen the vulnerability that teams leave themselves open to when someone can get behind the defence and get those breakaways. That's where the goals are scored. And doesn't matter how many shots you get on the net if they're not good ones. That statistic doesn't tell you if they are good shots or just dribblers, or even just the goalie icing the puck as it trickles around. The warning horn blows for 10 seconds to go, and we are coming up to our second period of this game, which will determine which of these two teams ends up in the finals playoffs tomorrow. The team that wins this gets a chance tomorrow to play for a place in the grand final. One place is 4, and so the team that wins this game will finish 4th on the ladder. It's quite interesting with the 2 ties that we've had so far. Stingrays win the face-off, but Adelaide comes through. That was Kate Green enterprisingly moving through the side on her wing. And a nice puck steal, but now Pushka down the other way. And she's brought down, but will we see a foul? We do. Pushka brought down from a back check. And it looks like that's a holding call. So this time the South Australians will have to sit in the box. By the look of it. Right, we have a penalty shot. The penalty shot will be taken by Vicky Project. She skates in. The rules are here, she's not allowed to put the puck backwards. Skates in, beats the goalie, puts it in the net, and the Central Coast Stingrays are up 1-0 with a penalty shot taken beautifully there by Vicky Project. If you had to get a player to take your penalty shot of any player in this league, she'd be the one you'd ask to do it. In this case, she didn't have any choice. She was the one fouled. And if you do make that foul in the process of a player taking a scoring opportunity, it does result in a penalty shot. And we are now Stingrays 1, Wolves 0. 13 minutes to go in the second period. The Adelaide team will be disappointed by that. They have had the run of the game, but you've got to turn them into goals. The Stingrays with a bit of a sting in their tail, so to speak. The Trapolino for Adelaide drives hard in the corner, and there's that loose player floating around in the slot that the Adelaide team need to take care of. That's Anna Hobday has to turn on the radar and watch what's happening behind her, as loose players in the slot will be their undoing. Holiday there with a good fight in the corner manages to keep control of it and not letting the Adelaide player play the puck out. There's a frozen puck under someone's foot, and she's just not moving and saying, if you want it, you're going to have to come and take it off me. And that's fair enough. Finally, the puck comes out, beaten out of position by the Central Coast players as they all find themselves lying around on the ice. Loose players floating around in the slot for South Australia, but ineffective at this point, and the Stingrays clear the puck down to the other end. It'll be an icing. Referee with his hand up, but it's waved off. Not quite sure why, but anyway, there you go. No icing on that. And a fair bit of sprawling on the ice, some players getting in each other's way. No harm intended, but some contact certainly occurring. We did say earlier that this is not a non-checking rule, it's a non-contact, as the South Australian player skate across the front of the net, gets a shot on, but Lunt makes the pad save. Nice Deacon stop, turn, pivot, but a high shot is caught comfortably by Lunt. It's often said that goaltenders are fast with their hands and slow with their feet. And if you can get them moving from side to side, that's when you get the opportunity to shoot low and hard. The advantage with a low shot, if you can, is if they don't save it, you're going to get a rebound, or it's going to go through the 5-hole and you'll get a goal. So as a general rule, shooting low is a good option, unless you're in close, you can get a real ripper. Puck caught up in someone's jersey. It drops down onto the ice now. Adelaide trying to just shove the puck in the direction of the net, but Lunt again makes the save. 11 minutes to go in the second. Stingrays up 1-0. Shots to the Wolves 19, Stingrays the 5. But we know that that's not telling the full story. The opportunities on the fast breaks. Just wait for our Stingrays to find their feet. The referee's going to give them get the game going sort of a thing. This is another muff change. The Stingrays have been a bit casual with their changes. Their bench has been a bit disorganised. They have done 2 penalties for too many players on the ice. Loose puck bobbling around in front of the net. Players sprawling around all over the place, but Lunt keeps the puck out once more. Adelaide just peppering the net, this time sprayed wide by Gunn. And this time the Stingrays break it up. And it comes out to Avril Giles, who tries to place it through the middle of the neutral zone, but not able to get away with it. Pruchka knocked off her feet by the Adelaide forward. Forecheck beaten, but the puck comes back out to the Stingrays defence. And Hathaway, who plays it safely up the boards, but right into a nest of Adelaide Wolves, or a den, it's probably the best way to put it. Cole Clark with an aggressive cross-ice move, but not taking the puck away. But second low lucky, and now the Stingrays with a chance, but the Adelaide Wolves back in numbers, and they will play it safely up the bench, but they don't up the boards, but they don't manage to clear it. Still in the offensive zone for the Stingrays. A good opportunity, a loose player has a go at a shot. Nice little bobbly shot, but who's back there to put it away? Jade Hodge. We know she's got an incredible pair of hands, and she does exactly what she needed to. Bit of indecision and hesitation from the Stingrays defence there. 25. Avril McGuinness with a questionable decision with a cross-ice pass. Remember, your priority is to get the puck out of the zone. She makes up for it though. Gets back and covers the position she needs to. Puck dumped down the other end. Handy is up for a potential icing. The puck crosses the line at the other end, and we will have an icing call on the Stingrays. They will have to come back and defend, and they're not supposed to get a change here. It's been allowed. The referee's being a little bit fluid with that rule. The technical interpretation of the icing rule is if you do ice the puck, you're not allowed to have a change. But they got one. And the reason for that is so that you can't use it as an excuse to get a change. You've actually got to play the puck out. Another shot from the slot by Trampolino, swallowed up by Lunt, who has done a superb job for the Stingrays today. She's a ring-in. She's actually a player from Melbourne. Stingrays didn't bring a goalie, we think, so Genevieve Lunt, she plays for the big deals here in the beer league at iceHQ. She's one of those hard-working players who's done a lot of work, does a lot of training, a lot of practice, and it's really paying off. She's quite a competent goalie at the B3 level here, and she's improved enormously over the last few seasons of play. 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go. The Stingrays up 1-0. 21 shots to the Wolves. No goals yet. Doing wonders for Lunt's statistics. If she can get a shutout on this, she'd be awesome, but you're not supposed to say that word apparently. Annie Bartlett for the Stingrays owning the slot and then clearing it, but not managing to get the puck out of the zone. Stingrays clear the zone in the hands of Giles, who tries to break out, but now we have a switch the other way. We have a one-on-one, but Stingrays back in numbers. The shot not forthcoming. And the puck bobbling high slot. This is dangerous for the Stingrays, but Lunt, a little bit lucky with the bounce there. It bobbled up and down, but she managed to get down on top of it. A good shot from Kate Green. Those shots that bounce up and down and move vertically can be very difficult to defend against as a goalie, but the puck bounced the right way for Lunt. She'll be happy with that. Another defensive zone face-off for the Stingrays. Tied up at the face-off. Puck comes into the slot, and the Stingrays have a chance to clear, but they put it back into the middle as Craig falls over. We got that on camera. And the Stingrays through. Break it down to their attack. And Adelaide break it out. Nice work on the boards by Dwyer, I think that might have been. possibly Halliday. It is difficult to tell with numbers taped up and so forth. Halliday looking for someone to pass to. She circles around, passes back to her D, who fires the puck in deep, but only straight to one of the Adelaide players. It's good to see them using all of their teammates. That's what this game's all about. You don't want one or two players doing all the work. You've got to trust your teammates and let them play the game. That's how everyone develops and improves. Nice skate around by Amy Newbury, but dispossessed after the pass. As the Stingrays now try and create something out of nothing. They get a shot, but it's just shot wide of the net by Hobday. Here Adelaide have a real chance, but Hathaway back to defend, covering it up and forces the attack wide. Nice play by Hobday there, very good defence. And she, in the end, wins the puck battle and moves the puck around. And now the Stingrays with another counter-attack. Shot on the net, well tended by Hodge. Puck sprays across to the other side. And now the defensive player pinches in and gets beaten again. You can see so many times the defence makes that high challenge and gets beaten. But fortunately for the Stingrays, the rest of them were back in numbers, but then they fell over each other, which doesn't help. Point comes up high, but runs into a wall of bodies. Luckily for the Stingrays, it was a Stingray body. And the puck tied up behind the net again. No one quite able to connect with the puck. This Adelaide team tries to drive it in, but the puck pops out. Stolen by Cassandra Dutton with a chance to get a shot on. She passes across to Christine Edward. Edward looks to put it back in. Skating across through the middle is Boschke, who tries to get a shot on but is ridden into the corner. The puck comes back up to the point. But shot goes in and is tied it up behind the net by the South Australian defence. Hathaway tidying it up, looking for an option. Who can she pass to? Goes across ice to a nest of green. Puck through into the middle of the neutral zone. And Boschke now with a chance. She's up on the half boards looking for an option. Passes across to the slot. And it goes across to Giles, who goes into the corner to get the puck. And now a loose player for the Stingrays sitting in the slot was Boschke, but not able to get the puck to them, the Stingrays. Just looking for them to create some space. Puck bobbling around neutral in the slot. Pushed in by Hathaway. On the point. Boschke comes in, stops the puck with her feet. And now she'll go the backhand across the front of the net and sticks the puck in the net. What a beautiful play there. Vicky Brochuk with a very sneaky backhand. Gets over the top of Jade Hodge. You'll see it here. Skates around on the backhand over the top of the glove of the sprawled Jade Hodge, who was doing everything she could to try and save that out. And the Stingrays now have a 2-0 lead. You'd have to say it was mostly against the flow of the play, but their defence has been mostly up to the task. They've kept out the Adelaide Wolves, who are on the rush again. But the Stingrays back in numbers. And Lunt makes the save, but not able to cleanly cover it up. She moves across to the other side as the puck stuck in the half wall. Comes up to D, who takes a big shot from the distance. Just fires it into green legs. Referee's got a hand up for another infraction. We'll see what that is in a moment. And we are going to get a slashing call. So the Stingrays will have to do another penalty kill. We've got a slashing call on Annie Bartlett. So this gives the Adelaide Wolves, a chance with the 5-on-4 advantage. It's 5-on-4, not 5-on-3 for these Stingrays, who are still disorganised on the bench. Puck bobbles out now from the face-off. Not a very effective cross-ice pass by Adelaide, which has given the Stingrays a chance to go down and put in a deep forecheck. But you can see they're not checking particularly hard on it. They're on the PK, so they're being sensible. Hathaway trying to hold the blue line, comes in, gets a shot across the front, but immediately looks to get back and cover her defensive responsibilities. I'm pretty impressed by how well she's played, Hathaway. Sorry, Newbury, not Hathaway. Number 20 for the Stingrays, Amy Newbury. She's played very well this game. She's got the right mix of aggressive defence and getting back and doing your job. So Adelaide on the rush now. Got a shot by Trampolino off to the side, and that ends the second period. And we have the Stingrays 2 and the Wolves 0. And the Stingrays will be starting the third period with a penalty. So the Wolves will still be on a power play, and they'll have 1 minute and 7 seconds to go on that at the start of the third period. So at the moment, the Stingrays 2, the Wolves 0. There are consequences to this game. The winner of it goes into a playoff for the grand final tomorrow, and the loser of it goes into a consolation final, which will be played against the Melbourne Furies. So their break of 60 seconds will be over fairly quickly. The Stingrays desperately need to get their bench sorted out. The changes have been a bit messy. They've been pinged for too many players on the ice twice. Once is kind of okay, but twice is one of those things where you kind of think, all right, who's running this bench? If they can sort that out, then they will stay out of the box a lot more and be harder to beat. It is difficult when you are a player short, but they are starting this next period on a penalty with 1 minute and 7 seconds of it for the kill. They'll need Lunt to be up to her best to give themselves that chance to get through to the grand final. Or can the Wolves get 3? Hodge has been great. The shots against her they've got in have been very difficult shots indeed. She hasn't let anything easy in, that's for sure. We know she's a class goaltender. She'd also be pretty tired. She had a massive day yesterday with that game when she had to make the 60 saves. Fatigue does add up. And this is a lot of games in not very many days. It's unusual for teams to play this many so close together. And we have the face-off ready to go. The puck's dropped. The Stingrays win the face-off. They are on the PK. We've got to kill this penalty. Adelaide takes the shot. Lunt makes the save, and the clock keeps ticking. And that's what they want, Stingrays want. They just want that clock to keep ticking and nothing to be happening. They've got a slim lead. It's only 2 goals. It's not a lot. You can defend against it. 2 goals is not enough to guarantee a win with 15 minutes of hockey to play. So they're going to want to run the clock down every chance they can. Doesn't mean they'll play totally negative hockey, but they don't need to do anything silly. All they need to do is run the clock down, keep getting the puck down the other end. If they get an icing, it's not necessarily a disaster because, again, it's 20 seconds. Now they've got a chance for a shorty. As the breakaway is made, but good back check by Adelaide. And that was Newbury again. And she's straight back. She's had that breakaway and then she's come back to cover it up. I'm very impressed by the way she's playing this game. And we have 3 seconds to go on the penalty. And now the Stingrays back to full strength as Amy Bartlett makes her way back onto the ice. Straight away into the game. She sees the puck in front of her and skates it over, tries to keep it out of the zone. And we have an offside for the Wolves, which again plays into the Stingrays' hands. It's what they want. They want their clock to keep ticking. 13 minutes and 30 seconds. This will kill another 10 seconds. 15 seconds. All these little breaks add up. The puck just poked through by the Adelaide centre. But the Stingrays clear it out of their zone. It goes all the way down the other end, and that counts as a shot. That's not icing because it actually ends up on the goalie. You can shoot from anywhere. The goalie can shoot if they want. It's pretty unusual for goalies to score goals, but it does happen very, very rarely. There was a red moon a few days ago, and that's roughly as often as goalie goals happen. But once every few years through the entire sport. Sometimes they even end up on video. The break down the right-hand side as the defence and Dwyer pinched in for the Stingrays is a vulnerability, but it's shot straight into Lunt, and there is no goal. Beautiful breakaway. Dwyer just pinched in a little bit on the blue line. You could see it. she got beaten. You're usually doing that situation. All the attacking player has to do is just chip it off the boards if you're on the boards, or chip it wide if you're not on the boards. You can't win in that situation if the attacking player has a bit of momentum and looks where we're going to put the puck, and that's what we saw. But Lunt tidied up the mess. Puck just out of the zone, so the Wolves having to come out again. Wood not able to capitalise on it for the Stingrays. Puck high in the slot. Wolves looking to fire it in, and they do, but not with anything great on it. The puck bobbles out of the zone, but not quite. Craig, with eyes on the prize, says no, that was not out of the zone. So Adelaide still have possession. They put it across the front of the net. Loose player unmarked. Stingrays need to sort that out, and they do. Now the Stingrays need to clear the puck out. They've got a potential breakaway. But Jagged manages for the Ice Wolves to tidy it all up and prevent the breakaway, doing the right thing. Pass cross ice and deep for the Stingrays. It's taken by Pruchka. Cycles around the back of the net, looks for an opportunity to get a wraparound goal, but it doesn't go. And now we've got two Adelaide players contesting each other for the puck. They're all tired, and they're all trying to do everything. Stevens this time gets a shot on, but goes wide, and Hodge does a great job tending to keep that out. But the Stingrays have the third. 3 goals now, the Stingrays. We'll watch this one on the video. And that was Dwyer, I think. Are we going to get the replay? No, we're not getting a replay. Sorry about that. We'll be able to tell you who got the goal in just a moment. That now takes it out to 3 goals to the Stingrays, none for the Wolves with 10 minutes to play. It's getting harder and harder for the Adelaide team to get up in this one. It's not impossible, it can certainly happen. Things are going to have to change for them pretty quickly to make it happen. Dutton for the Stingrays tries to drive it in. The puck comes out and it's missed on the point by Bartlett, which gives Adelaide a chance, and they break up the side and clear it out, but this time it's cleaned up. And that's Bochka carrying the puck in. And the puck out in the neutral zone. Not an effective forecheck by the Adelaide Wolves. They've got 2 players coming in to put the forecheck on. They do need to throw that caution and try and take a few more risks. So going a more aggressive forecheck with more players is certainly what they need to do. So the right option, but they do need also a bit more intensity. But I suspect by now they'll be very tired. This is their 4th game in 2 days, less than 48 hours, less than 24 hours really. And it's their 4th game, so everyone very tired. When you've got 3 goals to try and catch up and only 9 minutes to do it, you're thinking, can we even do this? It does break your heart a little bit. But it's a testament to their character that they're still digging and fighting for the puck every chance they get. Now we have a 2-on-1 for the Stingrays. And we have another foul. And Bochka earning the foul on number 9 for the Wolves in Tegan Bell. She'll sit 2. And so now the Stingrays have a power play. They've got the 5-player advantage, which is going to make Adelaide's jobs even harder. But not impossible. Many a short-handed goal has been scored. We've certainly seen plenty of them through this tournament. All it takes is a couple of minor defensive lapses, and then bad things happen. But they don't seem to happen when Amy Newbury's on the ice for the Stingrays. She's doing a great job of just tidying everything up in defence. 8 minutes now to play. The Wolves on the penalty with the Stingrays having the power play at this stage. So they've got a numerical advantage. They don't need to do anything silly. Cross-ice pass is picked off by the back-checking South Australian defence. And Zoe Messenger, who has played very well. And Zoe will have to go back now and clean up the puck for Adelaide. They've got her on for the penalty kill. Turns and fires the puck up the boards. Can they make a scoring opportunity out of this? maybe. The puck in the hands of Kaylee Hill, who's looking for a chance. She's been quiet, but she's trying to get the puck away, but stolen by the Stingrays. And that's Hathaway. Sorry, Newbury. Newbury gets a shot across, just puts it on the goaltender. Didn't have to have anything special on it. And the save is made, and the clock runs. And with 7 minutes to play, the Stingrays with a 3-0 lead over the Wolves, and 25 seconds to go on the Wolves penalty. The Stingrays have used this pretty well. They haven't done anything fancy. They haven't panicked. They just controlled it. The Adelaide team doing a pretty good job on the kill, but they can't afford to. They have to take risks. They're down by 3 goals with only just over 6 minutes to play. If they don't take any risks, they're certainly not going to get it. The puck not called offside there, as the Wolves are now back to full strength. And this time not making the panic rush off the bench. So staying on. And the Stingrays hold off. Nice shot by Trapolino. And she's found the net this time. We'll see that one on the replay. Trapolino's had a lot of opportunities and she's finally managed to capitalise on it. The initial save well made, and then it looks like it's bounced off the back of Lunt and comes straight back in again. Not quite sure what happened with that replay, but we now have a 1 goal to the Wolves, 3 goals to the Stingrays game. 29 shots for the Wolves, 14 for the Rays. And the Adelaide team a little bit slow to make their change. Let's go trying to just put the puck through her feet. Adelaide with another chance, but blocked out well by the back-checking Bochka. She's not going to let that go, and with 5 minutes to play. Kovacic doing the forecheck, floating around in the zone. Adelaide looking to clear the puck out. And they've got a break and an uneven player rush now, but good pressure on the back check. Lunt makes a pad save. Doesn't have to make the second save as the puck sprayed across the front of the net. But a good pad save first up. You expect your goalie to make the first one, and then it's the back-checking defence's responsibility to clear it out. We have a potential icing, but it's waved off. Adelaide clear the zone. Defensive player goes for that high challenge, gets beaten as usual. But the shot goes in. Lunt makes the save off the blocker. Beautiful save, Lunt. She's played very well this game. The improvement in her over the years has been quite spectacular. Messenger just fans on the shot. She was in good position. She's not quite able to get it on that. Puck flung across the front, dangerous for a deflection, but no, it doesn't go. And now it goes behind the net. 4 minutes and 20 seconds to play. Rimmed around the boards by the Stingrays. They want to clear the puck out of the zone if they can. But kept in by Adelaide, but blown out. Now we have a 1-on-none. The goalie coming out to try and defend. And it's straight through the 5-hole. And a hob day. Shuts the door on the Adelaide Wolves. Puts it straight through Hodge, who played a superb game yesterday, just not able to be quite as magical today. And Hobday with the breakaway, and the breakaway turns into a goal, as is so often the case, that the breakaways happen, and that's where the goals are found. I think they've all been from breakaways in this game. And it's often the case. That's why it's such an important thing to try and prevent within defensive structures. 3 minutes and 25 seconds to play in this game. Stingrays with an almost unassailable lead now. 3 goals with just the 3 minutes. It's not impossible, but things would have to go pretty wildly wrong for that to change. Goals to Prochik, Laver. Sorry. Goals to Prochik's got 3. Trapolino and Hobday have 1 each. Adelaide get another one back. And that was Kaylee Hill for Adelaide putting that one in. So they're in it. It's only 2 goals in 2 minutes. Can you do it? Well, it's possible. I'd be pulling the goalie and throwing caution to the wind, but let's see if they do that. to get that extra player on the ice. Who knows what might happen, but they'll leave the goalie on. Stingrays dump the puck deep. They don't need to do anything silly. Boschke going in on the forecheck. Nicely cleared out by Adelaide, but not able to clean it up. Still in the offensive zone for the Stingrays. Puck goes deep into the corner. They're down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds and 2 goals of difference. Puck comes up high, kept in nicely by Newbury. Yes, the Adelaide team tries to move around the boards. Newbury moving backwards, but beaten by the Adelaide forward. Goes around the outside, but she covers it up. And with 1 minute and 45 seconds to play, Polchik has the puck, has a shot. Not quite sure where it ended up. It's gone somewhere. And she heads back over for the last change of her shift. And it's gone down deep. And Newbury goes to tidy it up. She's got 1 minute and 25 seconds to kill and 2 goals. The deficit for the Adelaide Wolves. Central Coast Stingrays not quite guaranteed the win. If Adelaide can score now, they pull their goalie at last. They've done it. Off goes the goaltender. So now they have extra players on the ice and they have a goal. They steal another one in the dying gasp. 1 minute to play. They want to set up that face-off as quickly as they possibly can. Get it ready so they can have 30 more seconds with 6 players on the ice to try and claw it back. They can't afford to celebrate. They've got to line up and get ready to go. If they want to give themselves a chance, they have to line up real quick. They've got 45 seconds and a 1-goal deficit. They've left their goalie on. I'd pull the goalie and go 6 and just go bananas and see what happens. But they choose not to. Can the South Australians overhaul this lead? They've got a chance down in the corner. Now the goalie leaves the ice, moves across the front of the puck. Everyone's sprawling all over the ground. The referee blows the whistle. Where's the puck? We don't know where it is. No one knows where it is. And if no one knows where it is, the game has to stop. And there's a discussion. And while the discussion is happening, the clock is ticking. So a little bit of agitation there, but we have a penalty shot now. A penalty shot for Adelaide. If they get this, the game is tied. And then things get really interesting. It'll go to a count back. So if Adelaide score this goal from the penalty shot, Lunt comes out. We get a deke to the right and then a shot past the net, but the save made by Lunt, no goal, and the Stingrays win it. So that puts the Stingrays into the final tomorrow. Desperately close game. What a spectacular finish. You wouldn't have picked that one. I certainly didn't. But what a great game by both teams. They took it right down to after it wasn't decided until after the siren with that penalty shot. Shots to the Wolves 33-15 to the Stingrays, but the Stingrays win it 4 goals to 3 after with a penalty shot in the most dramatic fashion, the most dramatic way you can possibly have it after the siren has blown. So a great game by both teams. Talk about a comeback and a desperate effort by the Adelaide Wolves. What a credit to Adelaide that team is. They've done extraordinarily well. They'll be playing tomorrow against the Melbourne Furries in the consolation final, while the Stingrays will be playing in a playoff to get into the grand final tomorrow afternoon as well. We'll have a 10-minute break and we're back with you at around about 5 to 9.